With another great savings for this week, we found London broil on sale at a local supermarket. That's what the ad. Went into the store, told the guy in the back we wanted the whole top round, which that comes out of, in the bag. So he went to the back, got us the whole piece. We got it for the sale price. So we got this whole piece of top round, which is 19 pounds for $56. Now we're going to show you the variety of cuts you can get out of it to merchandise it down, and where your savings come from. Okay, so this is it. We went in, like I said, got it out of the back in the bag. I would rather had it untrimmed, and I'll show you why in a minute. Untrimmed, it would have a cap on top of here, which you'd be able to use all those trimmings for more ground beef and stuff like that, and then the fat. So let's get this bloody out of the way. So anytime you're cutting meat, so this is the whole piece. You want to go against the grain. You see kind of the way the grain runs in this? So you don't want to cut it this way with the grain. It'll make your meat tough. And that goes for any cut of meat. So we're going to square this off. And then we'll end up using that for trimmings later. Now, if you want a London broil, we don't personally like London broil, so for the purpose of this video, I'm going to show you, there's going to be 6 different cuts we're going to show you what you can get out of here. But then I'm going to go back and grind mine all into hamburger, or actually ground round. So about 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick. There you got yourself a London broil. You can leave it like that. You can cut it in half, make 2 small ones. So you got your London broil. So now with the rest of this, I mean, you can continue to make London broil. So, but we're going to go ahead and, to make it easier to slice, I'm going to we'll take this off of here. Trim it up a little bit. And you got yourself a nice top round roast. What you could use for anything, we're probably going to use that. We're going to try to make our own deli style roast beef, or you can slice it thin, make jerky. And again, to go across here to make this easier slice, we're going to to merchandise this down. Again, you continue to make London broils if you want. We're going to make cube steaks and ground round out of this whole thing. So I'm going to cut it this way. And I know I just told you not, but that's where we're going to still, when we cut our steaks, we're going to cut them against the grain. We're going to take this junk off here for our ground round. Anytime, just like when there are caps on there. Anytime you're cutting, don't do this.
And just hack it up.
You want nice, and that cap just peels right off of there. So we'll take that. Take this one, so we're gonna make cube steaks. Get the cap off of here. Cube steaks you want very lean. Get any fat off of there. And we'll go down. On the opening to our tenderizer is about 1 inch. You want to slice these about 3/4 of an inch. And then we're also going to take the other one. Actually, we make carne asada out of some of that. So that's good. You take this one here. Then with this, we'll take it. Make some stew meat. Yeah, we'll take this one here. And we can get a little slicer. We have a little slicer, but for the purpose of this video, a good way to do this if you don't have a slicer is take this, stick it in the freezer for 20 minutes, let it firm up, and then you slice it very thin. That should be about a pound. And you got carne asada. And then again, we'll take the rest of this. How much off of there? Said we're gonna make all this into hamburger and keepsakes for ourselves, but I just want to show you guys the different cuts you can get out of it. Take this again. Take that off there so we have a nice uniform keepsake. Make this into stew meat. And this would be real ground round, which they don't make ground round if you go to the store nowadays. In the late 80s, probably mid to late 80s, USDA came in. All your ground beefs used to be called ground beef, ground chuck, ground round, and ground sirloin. Well, the USDA came in because in your stores, you're not putting just ground chuck in the ground chuck. It's different trimmings like shank meat and trimmings off steaks. And so they said, well, you can't do that anymore. It's not all round. So they made it go to a percentage. So now it's all called ground beef with different percentage, 30%, 22%, 15%, or 9 or 10%. This is going to be true ground round here. And I will make some more cube steaks. See, that's going to be probably about a pound and a half there. So that's about 5 pounds. Cube steak, make the rest of this into stew. Stew, or if you wanted actually this, I just showed you. You could actually, it's a little bit tough for me. You could actually take and cut these into bigger chunks and make beef kebabs. It's a good thing about getting this whole beef. Do whatever you want with it. Grind the whole thing. If you grind this whole thing into ground round, 19 pounds for your 20 pounds. We called around today. The average price of ground round is $10.99 a pound. So $11 a pound. If you ground this whole thing into nothing but ground round, you would have, figured that was 20 pounds, probably $220 worth of just ground round, and you paid $56.52 for the whole piece of meat.
Yeah, so $150 savings
Yes.
just grinding it.
Put those in there. Chunk this little those piece into the hamburger. Grinder you get, we're going to use after a while is a small grinder we picked up online for $150. We looked around last night. You can actually get a table mount one for about $40, hand crank. And then we also found one at Home Depot, an electric one for $38. I don't know how good a one it is. I know the one I have works great. It's a different brand. So get all this chunked up small enough to fit down that chute. Yeah, going to the store now, like I told you on the last video, been in the business for 30 years. My dad was a butcher. My nephew also was a meat manager at Save Mart. We lost him tragically last December in a tragic accident, and he was my meat man. I didn't have to go to the store and ask these guys. I'd call him, or he'd call me, "Hey, Uncle Jay, we got this going on sale." And he'd go to the back, pick me the best out of the best out, and I'd go pick it up. So, but I don't have that luxury anymore. So now we just deal with a local meat guy. And most of them will do it for you. Most of them have no problem with it. Because this happened to be the last one they had, so we didn't really get a choice of how good a one we got. It was this or nothing. So that was always handy. I knew before he was going to sell one on what we were getting. And it's nice always buying boneless. You can actually get stuff cheaper, but then you got the waste of the bone. So this is simple. I mean, that's all there is to it. We're going to have ground round, which that's probably about 7 pounds at $11 a pound. We got stew meat, which you called earlier, $9 a pound. There's probably about 2 pounds there. Carne asada. It's probably more than a pound, but we'll say a pound. Carne asadas go in, we average it out anywhere between $8.99 and $11 a pound. Or no, 11 was the average, so for $12 a pound. Cube steaks, once we run this through this cuber, or again, you can revert back. You can hammer these out with a hammer if you don't want to spend the money for a cuber. And then your London broil, regular cost on your London broil, if it wasn't on sale, is $7.50 a pound. And then your top round roast, $7.50 a pound. So you saved, the minimum savings was on the roast and the London broil, and you saved, $4.50 a pound on both of those. So now let's get the cuber up here. One way. The other way. Cube steak. You can actually go on run more than twice, you can. But you just want to, so like this, if you want to get a different, nice and square, fold that over. See this one, like just one bit. There you go. Nice little square piece. And if I was actually still working in a meat department, And one of my workers was doing this one at a time. He'd get his ass chewed out. Like, be in the way if I was using both hands. Yeah, that's the only gun where pulled out and overdo again. But we're gonna do this. This will be faster. Or again, revert back to our other video where we made the pork cutlets. I showed you how to use a hammer. You can hammer these out, but they don't come out. They come out good, but not nearly like this. And with what we've saved between the pork cutlets and now these cube steaks today, this machine is basically paid for itself. A grinder, when we first got it, we made a bunch of sausage. When we went and bought it, we were going to make a bunch of sausage. A German sausage, andouille sausage, chorizo, and that paid for itself just the first sausage batch we did. Nice looking cube steaks. That's when you go to the store, if you can find cube steaks anymore, they'll have gristle going through them because you don't know, they put all kinds of stuff in there. This was a nice lean piece of meat. Those are going to be tasty cube steaks. So we'll get this. We're going to get this in the refrigerator for now before we package it, and then we'll show you how to grind this stuff up.
So now we'll start grinding the meat. We'll show you a quick assembly. These are all the parts for the grinder. Here's both your plates. Is this one the chili plate?
No, this is the chili plate.
Chili plate.
This is actually a sausage plate, and there's one smaller for hamburger, but I like using this one for hamburger. On these smaller grinders, if you go to the grocery store, what they use is about that size for the ground beef. This one is way too small, it makes it mushy.
And when you put these blades on, there's two sides. There's a flat side and another side. The flat side always goes against the plate, so it's nice and smooth. If you do it backwards, it'll start scraping off metal.
And mush up your plate. And
yeah, and it'd be totally wrong. So to put this together, start off with that.
Put the horn in, tighten it.
Get it nice and tight. This goes in. Then you do the blade, flat side out.
We're going to start off today with the chili plate. I always do the chili plate first, and then you can mix your hamburger better and then go through the other blade. And we're going to save some of this for chili meat. So
then your loading tray.
And we're ready to grind.
Put a bowl underneath so it'll catch it. Just like that.
And here's our trimmings from what we just did. Drop it in there. You can actually load this up if you want. But you don't want to put too much. Once you get it in there, just take this.
You just barely press.
Yes. A lot of people try to push really hard on it, and that blade's only going to cut so fast. That's all you're going to do is hog up your plate. So
just barely any pressure. Kind of let it feed itself.
First grind done. Now we're going to change the plate. The reason we do it for this chili plate is just so it's easier. Now you can mix it up. I'll show you that in a minute. We're going to go from the chili plate.
Are we going to clean out the fat?
Yeah, the good way to do that is pull that out.
You get all the chunks of gristle that get caught and you just throw that off to the side.
And then we're going to switch to this plate. Where the little dealies at.
there's a little notch in the plate, and that goes all the way up top.
Here I can. Oh, here we go. I can't see it from this side. No, I'm not left-handed. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll get this started, get all this ground through, and then we'll show you the next step.
And what we do with why we do this is easier. Then you mix it up a little bit. Get all the, because you're gonna have some pieces with more fat, and so you mix it up a little, so it's all consistent. And then we're gonna turn this back on. Put our other bowl back under here. And then go back through with this. So now you got your ground meat. You got your ground round, and you got your chili meat, which also, besides chili meat, which I didn't say before, I can take this and leave it coarse ground like this, and you can call it steak burgers. It's actually a coarser grind, so it's kind of chunks of meat in there, and you make hamburger patties out of those, just like you do a hamburger, and they're delicious. So let's get this in, spread everything out we did today, show you what you got, and get to wrapping. So all done today. This is what you ended up coming out with that one piece of meat. This is probably 3.5 pounds of ground through the chili plate, which is steak burgers or chili meat. 6 pounds of hamburger. We don't have a scale, we're just estimating this. Probably 1.25 pounds cube steak here. 3 stacks of that, so you figure 3 3/4 pounds of cube steaks. A little over 1 pound of London broil. Probably 2 pounds top brown roast. 1.5 pounds of stew meat, and probably 1.5 pounds of carne asada. And all this together was $57 and some odd cents. And then later we'll post on our site the exact how much you saved and on that. So now we're gonna go to wrapping, show you how to do that, and then hope you enjoyed playing with your meat today. I know we did. So what I like about this, play with it, do what you want with it, and then we're gonna make something good. I'll take some of this tonight, we'll post it later. We're gonna make an awesome meatloaf for you. It'll be on the site at a later date, and we'll see you all next time.
Make sure you like and subscribe just so we can keep doing this and showing you big savings. Thank you.